This is the video tutorial on how to set up products within WooCommerce. If you haven't seen the WooCommerce settings videos, I strongly recommend you do that first because there's some key things in there about image sizes that will cause you problems if you then decide to change at a later date after adding products. I'll put a link to the video in the description for that. So before you make any products, you really need to set some categories. You can do categories as you go if you want to, but I find it easier to set the categories up first. That way you don't forget anything like thumbnails. As you can see, this is actually my website that I'm using. I've used another website for some of the other videos because the settings were blank in certain cases. In this case, this is just going to be me showing you how I've gone through setting up certain things. So you basically need to add a category on a blank WordPress WooCommerce installation. This column here will be empty. These are my current categories. So it's as simple as labeling a new category. So the name of the category is what will display on the shop page. The slug of the category is what will display in the URL when you're looking at the category. So it will be the URL, the domain name of the business you're running, followed by the shop page title, which might be shop or store, followed by products, followed by the category name, so in this case template, and then followed by the product name. Okay, you can see, so I've put the name in and the slug in. You can see that I have names, descriptions. I have the little description here that says click on the square thumbnail to see the full image. That just entices people into the shop if they hover over it. In these two cases, this is a particular feature I'm running on my website where I have guest photographers, and these are descriptions about those two people. None of my categories are subcategories. They're all major categories, as what they call WordPress calls parent categories. If you wanted, say for example, I've used if you were doing a clothing online clothing store, you might have headwear as a parent category, and then you may have baseball caps and beanie hats and other types of hats as subcategories of those categories. So you put your description in, and then you have your display type, and that would be your for me it's products. If it was if it was a parent category, then obviously the display type would be a subcategory because you want subcategories underneath, and then you add your thumbnail by uploading an image to the WordPress media library. Would recommend about probably no more than 300 pixels wide by 300 pixels tall for the thumbnails, because you don't want them too big to load. Otherwise it will take ages for your shop to load. And then you just click add new product category and it will appear in this list. The more you add, the more descriptions you've got, and you can just tick the items in the when you're creating the products rather than adding them on the go. That's not to say you can't add them on the go, but if you do add a category on the go, it won't by default have a thumbnail image or a description. I'm just going to click edit on this top one here, and here you can see the edit options. Adding a media here into the description is not where you add a picture. You do that here on the thumbnail. Okay, you can also, if you're using the Yoast SEO plugin, which is highly recommended, you can do custom SEO for this product category. Now it's you could put some more information in here, which would then allow your SEO description to go higher than orange like I've done here. I haven't really done any focus on keywords in this. I hadn't actually set a focus keyword. That's once you've got your categories lined up and you've got everything you need, you can then move on to attributes. Attributes are used for product variations. You can either preset them here, very much like you do with a category. So you give your attribute a name, and this would be something like if you were selling a product, you would have a size. So I'm going to give it the attribute a size. You enable it on archives, which allows it to be usable on products, and it's a select option as opposed to a text option. And I normally choose name as the default sort order for this. So I add the attribute. Now that creates a label next to what would be a drop-down box for an option on a product. And you can configure the terms for the size here. So now it's saying, okay, well, if your label is size, what are your sizes? So that would be small, small, no parent, no description, and there you have a small attribute. I did cover this in a later video because I had a previous edit of this video which disappeared, where I skipped a lot of this information. So obviously more sizes, you would add medium, large, and then when you go back into attributes or variable products later, you would then use these attributes. Other alternatives could be things like color or optional extras for products. Bearing in mind any extras you add that are not a standard price, you would need to add a price variation when you do the prices. That concludes the categories and attributes section, and next will be adding a simple product.